Welcome to chaomix. Stick around Sonic fans long enough and there's one thing you'll most likely notice. There are certain fans that treat Sonic like a religion. I mean, how can you blame them when Sonic Adventure 2 is literally the second coming of Christ, am I right? But this silly little thought got me thinking. What about the Sonic universe itself? Does religion exist canonically? Yes, my shower thoughts are loud and sometimes scare me. Join me on this journey as we ask possibly the most hard-hitting question of all time: does religion exist in the Sonic canon? This video is made possible by today's sponsor, Yahaha Studio. Have you ever wanted to try your hand at making your very own video game? I know I have, and boy, let me tell ya, learning to create a game in a more traditional way can be really tricky. I mean, learning how to code is hard enough as it is, and combining that with other things like 3D modeling? That's a lot of stuff you'll need to study up on before even getting to the part where you actually make your game. But Yahaha aims to make creating games more intuitive and simple. Yahaha Studio is a new platform for 3D multiplayer user-generated games and content. Go to the asset library and use things like templates, components, and smart assets to begin creating your vision. For example, we can go to the Create section and choose the Hide and Seek template. We can then grab a 3D model from the asset library and bring it into our scene. And if we click on it, we can actually see the gameplay setup menu, and we can add components that we've downloaded off of the asset library. So let's attach the Behavior Player Transform component onto it. We can then press play, run over to our 3D model that we added, and there we go. We were able to transform into it just like that. Man, I love me some good old-fashioned prop hunt. And if you're ever looking to go the extra mile to enhance your creation skills, make sure to check out the live community sessions over at the Yahaha Twitch and YouTube channels. Making fun games is made incredibly easy with Yahaha Studio. Use the link in my description to download and try out the early access for yourself for free. And I'd love to try out your game, so if you make anything, feel free to link it to me and I'll try it out and give some feedback. Huge thank you to Yahaha Studio for making this video possible, and with all that being said, let's continue with today's episode. Back when I made my video, A Brief History on Swearing in the Sonic series, I had to go over a ton of dialogue throughout the series, and there was a particular line from Sonic Heroes I found that caught my attention. Ultimately, I ended up not including it because it wasn't necessarily a swear, but regardless, it keeps me up at night thinking of the implications. I'm of course talking about this line from none other than Amy Rose.
Oh my god!
Now, if you don't think about it too hard, this is just an everyday expression that a lot of people use, even those who aren't necessarily religious. But if you do think about it, this statement actually implies that there is a god in the Sonic the Hedgehog universe. And when there's a belief in a god, there's usually a religion to follow. We all know that there are certain gods and deities within the Sonic universe already. In Sonic Adventure 1, we can hear Eggman refer to Chaos as the god of destruction.
You know nothing, fool! It's Chaos, the god of destruction!
Of course, now that Sonic Frontiers has kind of explained the origins of Chaos, we now know that he isn't actually a god. But there are still plenty of godly beings from this series to choose from here. You have both Light and Dark Gaia, who have existed since the beginning of time, Solaris, the Sun God, otherwise known as the Flame of Hope of Solaris, and by extension, Mephiles the Dark and Iblis, and even though it isn't directly stated, the Time Eater from Sonic Generations seems to have a sort of divine power over space and time. Personally, I don't find it too hard to believe that a religion could have been based off of any of these godlike beings that we already know about. I mean, we know for a fact that Soliana would hold rituals like the Festival of the Sun to honor their god Solaris. This is the ceremony that we see during the intro of Sonic 06. And maybe this or some other in-universe religion based off of another one of these deities could be what Amy is referring to when she says, "Oh my god." Or she could be referring to a religion based off of one from real life. In fact, Sonic R has direct references to Christianity. Yeah, that's a real thing. On Resort Island, if you make your way over to these stone huts, you can actually see the symbol called the ichthys, or sometimes referred to as that one fish symbol you see on people's cars as bumper stickers. This Christian symbol, which represents Jesus Christ, was allegedly added into the game due to the founder John Burton's devotion to his belief in Christianity. And it's not like this symbol was snuck in at the last second or anything. If we look at this YouTube video uploaded by one of the developers of of the game showing off an early prototype, this symbol can be found right here. So either this symbol just went over Sega's head, or they were all on board to make Christianity canonical within the Sonic the Hedgehog universe. Honestly, the reason it was added almost doesn't matter, because the fact of the matter is, this symbol is in an official Sonic game and completely opens the floodgates for my deranged theories. Anyways, Amy isn't the only one to reference a higher being in this series. In the Japanese Knuckles Chaotix instruction manual, there's a line about Vector the Crocodile, obviously in Japanese, but don't worry, I got you covered with the translation. Believing in the existence of God, he came to this island after hearing about the news of an island of miracles. So apparently, Vector is pretty religious, or at least believes in some kind of God. Unfortunately, there's nothing here pointing us to any specific religion. It could be Christianity, since we now know that that's a thing in this universe. It could be something based off of any of the other in-universe deities that we mentioned previously, or it could be some kind of unnamed religion that we just don't know about. Shadow the Hedgehog, like Amy, also says the Lord's name in vain in a specific moment during the Sonic Colors Ultimate Twitter takeover. Scandalous, I know, but here's the clip just in case you don't believe me.
Oh my god, his ex hated eggs.
It's a funny clip, and I'm sure this quick little remark went over 99.9% of people's heads, but oh no, not mine. This statement provides further proof of religion in the Sonic universe. Oh yeah, and both Sonic movies have a ton of characters saying things along these lines as well. Here are but a few examples.
Oh my god, look at your face.
Oh my god, it's a dance fight.
Oh god.
What? Tell me what, oh god.
I mean, we also have this entire wedding scene between Rachel and Randall with a priest officiating it. Sure, he turned out to be a gun operative, but it's a thing, and even his fake Bible proves that religion does exist in the Sonic canon, at least the movie canon. Oh yeah, hey, you remember the Chow Garden? I sure do. You know I do. Maybe you already know where I'm going with this, but because Sonic Adventure 2 had the whole good versus evil thing going on, they made it so that Chow could evolve into Hero or Dark Chow depending on their alignment. And depending on what your Chow evolved into, it would unlock the Hero and Dark Gardens. Very clear references to heaven and hell. And obviously the Hero and Dark Chow being references to angels and devils. Listen, I remember back in the day, me and the other kids my age would refer to them as Angel Chow and Devil Chow. Yeah, it wasn't the correct name, but even us little kids knew what they were going for. It doesn't stop at the Chow Garden when it comes to religious references in Sonic Adventure 2 though. In the famous Pumpkin Hill, one of the treasure hunting stages for Knuckles, there's an area that contains a small steeple and gravestones, obviously meant to be a church. Omo Chow even calls it Church Mountain. This game had an entire ad campaign based off of this heaven and hell imagery. In a magazine ad for Sonic Adventure 2, we have this image of Sonic with a halo over his head paired with the text, "Come all ye faithful," a quote from a popular religious Christmas carol. And on the next page, we have Shadow with the text, "Come to the dark side." Again, this represents the duality between good and bad, angel and devil, and heaven and hell. There's also a German magazine ad for Sonic Adventure 2 that has a pretty similar theme to it. The text roughly translates to, "The prophecy proclaimed that the end of the world would be near with the arrival of the Dark Hedgehog." Again, we have imagery of Sonic and Shadow standing in front of heavenly and hellish scenery, respectively. Still not convinced? Don't worry, I got a few more rapid-fire examples up my sleeve. I mentioned this in my swearing video, but in Sonic and the Secret Rings, Sonic directly references hell during this scene. If religion doesn't exist in the Sonic universe, what the heck is Angel Island doing being called Angel Island, huh? Ever think about that? Sonic CD has this angel statue you can find in Wacky Workbench. What if I told you that Sonic has actually met Satan? You probably wouldn't believe me, and I don't blame you. But in Sonic Runners, there was a collaboration with the Puyo Puyo series, and Sonic and friends got to interact with a bunch of its different characters, one of them being Satan, or otherwise known as the Dark Prince. Yeah, censorship. Sonic is also a guest character in Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, which potentially has him matching up against the very same Satan character. And for my last example, in this TikTok posted by the official Sega account, Sonic dies and goes to heaven. Amazing. With all of these examples, I'm practically positive that religion does in fact exist in the Sonic canon. But will we ever know what god or religion these characters are referring to? As it stands now, no, but maybe someday we will. With continuity being a huge focus going forward, I think it would be wise if Sonic Team filled this hole in the lore with an answer. It's your move now, Sonic Team. I trust your answer won't disappoint. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you liked it, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this. Make sure to join our community Discord. I'll leave a link to that in the description. As always, thank you to my amazing channel members. And with all of that said, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Peace.